Hello, Gamers for Hope fam. Do we have a name for the group? I don't know.
Well,
How's
it's
y'all
enough
doing today?
from what I was seeing on the. I know you got the T-shirt, so.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm thinking of a different group. Never mind.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't think we have one. Anyways, that aside, I'm gonna be your host for a little bit. I think I'm doing afterwards too. I think my stuff got moved on down. Yes, it did. So I'm gonna be here for a little bit. I'm Novo. Nice to meet you. I'm one of the stream organizers. You saw me at the beginning. If you're here at the beginning, why are you watching for so long? Go take a break. I'm just kidding, cause we love having you here. Anyways, enough about myself. I'd like to introduce to you our amazing runner, Kingfishergames, playing World of Warcraft. Kingfisher, you go
Hey
ahead.
everybody. Hi everybody. I'm Kingfishergames. I run Exile's Read. Have access to these heirlooms, which are items that you unlock on your account and then can use on other characters. And they have various effects like you level faster, sort of. When you level, you deal damage to all the enemies around you. A few other things. Um, Also, because I have all those unlocked, I get a mount at level 1 when you normally take till level 10 to get your first mount, which helps with moving around. And on top of that, I have 5 max level characters, which increases my experience gain by 25%. But right now, there's an event going on in game that ups your experience gain once you hit level 10. So we're running under seasonal category instead of New Game Plus. Otherwise, it's the same. Um, my commentator here is none other than Sheik, who basically helps manage all of the WoW boards to make sure that the runs they are authenticated properly and verified. Sheik,
Hey
go ahead and
everyone,
speak for yourself.
that's that's me. I'm here today to commentate over the run, giving everyone the info that is needed to fully understand what's going on.
He'll be doing most of the commentary during the run. I have a couple final prefaces before we get into this. This run, we actually use an add-on. Well, I have a couple add-ons installed, which are allowed within the confines of the run. Um, this
That's
one
correct.
right here that I want to mention is Quick Quest. Normally, when you accept a quest or turn in a quest, you have to scroll down to the bottom to accept it and do a few things, and it takes some time. This makes it so when you click on the NPC that has the quest, it immediately does all that automatically, accepts it or turns it in, accepts the next one. It just speeds things up a lot faster. TomTom is mostly usable for like seeing where your next direction's going. Cursor trail is just so I don't lose my mouse in the middle of off in the middle of the screen without seeing it, because there's a lot on screen sometimes. And that's basically it. We play a Worgen because they're the werewolf people. They have a racial based dash that they have access to, like a movement buff, which helps them a lot. And we play a hunter because it lets us do damage from range. They're a little tankier than most of the spell classes, so that would also be ranged. They have a pet who can do damage as well to help clean up the chaff. So those are the main things going on. You'll see a few tricks throughout this run. Sheik's going to handle most of the narration from here. We're going to get in. There is this
Yeah.
cutscene that if I try to skip, breaks everything. So you're going to see that real quick. It's like 10 seconds, and then I will tell when the run is about to start. So we're going to hit Enter World right now.
Yeah. So what Kingfisher mentioned, like you can skip the cutscene here, but oftentimes it just breaks. So it's better to just keep it running through and start with the timing afterwards. Like when we say it breaks, is you cannot move your character, and you have to basically recreate your character. There might be ways to fix it, but that's usually the easiest way. You just restart, remake the character. So the cutscene is almost over. You will start off collecting like the first quest, and he has to escape the boat.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you, you're going to go ahead and just tell me when you hit start on timer. You can start at any time now. Give me a countdown and go for it.
I got you. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Go? Okay. Options. So we immediately go in and we're going to turn on auto loot. We're going to turn off tutorials, and we're going to add action bars. From here, Sheik's going to do most of the explanation for the next bit, because I have to focus pretty hard for this next quick section.
Yeah, as he mentioned, you just saw him instantly accept the quest. That's the quick quest add-on in action. What he's supposed to do here now is he needs to kill a combat dummy. What he's like focusing on right now is just some menuing. Like he wants to create heirloom gear to increase his damage output. One important thing that he will make use of is whenever he levels up, when he has the heirloom gear equipped, he will get a buff that like increases his agility by like 40%. So which is really useful. So in World of Warcraft, it's kind of like a lot of preparation going into a run to begin with, less than like some other categories here. But he gets, for example, 25% more experience because he already has 5 max level characters on his account. But this isn't actually a leveling speedrun. This is like the speedrun ends when this tutorial is completed. So leveling is just like a means to complete it quicker. And as you're probably familiar with an MMORPG, he can encounter players around the world, and they can actually, not on purpose, but like also on purpose, but mostly unintentionally mess with his run. So I believe there are a couple of mobs, like bosses, that may not be up, so he might lose some time if people got there before him.
And that can happen with a total of about 7 bosses throughout the run, and because of that fact, that's part of why I gave myself about 4 minutes of wiggle room in our timer. Any of those that make me wait more than 10 seconds before their respawn, I am donating $10 to charity. So we're gonna hope for good RNG, but if it's bad, we're not screwed. The charity will benefit. So.
And this is the mount he was talking about. Not everyone has access to it. You need to unlock it on your account, which in this case he did. So he is a lot faster. Like if you're familiar with World of Warcraft, you might be thinking like, why is he not using any like potions or any like thing that you can send over? That's because it's like restricted in the zone. There have been historically some workarounds around it, but I think most of that stuff is fixed and might not even not be faster. If
Yeah. And in fact, the category doesn't let you mail anything. Only account-wide unlocks that are accessible on the character when you log into them. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I believe you're going to get your first pet here soon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we're gonna hope that there's a boar up, but we might have to settle on a hawk. But we usually go boar here. So boar just,
Yeah.
I think it does a little bit more damage. There's one. That's great. That's the spawn
Awesome.
we always hope is up because it's so close, and you can basically. We're stuck waiting for Tame Beast to finish here, but as soon as we're done learning it, we can go straight into taming. And sometimes he charges you, and then you lose however long you were trying to tame him. He does that most of the time, but right there, we finished that.
Yeah, and as you
So.
can see, like accepting and turning those quests with the add-on is extremely fast. And you can also like see why Hunter is very powerful here.
And
Go ahead.
you might wonder why I have auto loot on if there's so many of these characters I'm just not bothering to loot in the first place. It's because when we want to loot something, we want to loot something. We loot for specifically things that are required as quest items, or in one case, we loot there is a boss, the second to last boss of the run can have a bow that is better than the heirloom one I have. So if we have that happen, that was the first boss that we could have been delayed by a minute on. Luckily, we were not. That second to last boss can have a bow that does a couple extra damage, and it's enough to maybe save you a couple of attacks. so it's worth looting. But otherwise, we don't loot anything that isn't required for the run.
So important note here. This is, I believe, coming up the first like roleplay sections where we just have to wait like for a minute.
We are
I
able to
believe this.
skip once the cutscene starts, but we have to wait until then.
Yeah, exactly. And usually during like a leveling speedrun or a zone speedrun, like if there's any way we can skip this, we would likely do it. But as of my knowledge, there haven't been any skips found that actually complete the quest objective. So we just sort of like have to wait it out. Uh, like during this time, people sometimes like to make some additional configurations, like options that they would prefer to have.
But you can't make heirlooms there, and even then, you'd be a fair bit into the run if you were. So, some configuration options are sometimes worth doing there, but actual like item creation doesn't. So,
Yeah,
oh, we're
I
so
mean,
lucky. We have my 3 favorite boars. This is wonderful.
yeah, I believe he needs to like use an item on them right afterwards.
Yep.
They're so nearby. And if you like very like an old WoW player, you might be uh, surprised that you can actually just click on the balls. Back in the day, you just had to like use the item from your bag, but nowadays you can do most objectives by just clicking on the item on the NPC. But as you can see, he wants to use his movement speed abilities in a way where it lines up, so he saves as much time as possible.
This next section's a little tricky. There have been many times it has failed to register that I've used this ability, but what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to stampede all of these undead. There we go. And we try to do this one last, so we end up right here next to the second boss, who also is up. So that's wonderful.
And in some cases, I don't know if this is the case here, it's possible to leave the vehicle so that you can go out of like a ball early, but I don't actually think it works here. But it's like sort of like what you look out for, like when you like do any zone really or any leveling. Like if you're like in a vehicle, you always want to try to leave it to maybe find a skip that Blizzard didn't think of or didn't care.
So here we have to show that we know how to buy and sell items. So we bought our item, we're selling another item with that, which is actually a really nice quality of life thing that they did, where they allowed auto sell to be a thing finally after players were asking for it for years. Don't know why auto quick quest didn't work there, but maybe I was because I was holding shift at the moment by mistake. There we go. Worked that time.
So one important thing here is he just accepted all of the quests. It basically started a roleplay section that's going on right now. So when he comes back later, he can immediately accept the quest. So he goes to this quest first. This is an optional quest, which he opts in to do because it gives him a speed buff for like I believe 10 minutes, which is
Yes.
insanely like a lot of it's very efficient, so it takes the time that this quest takes is worth it.
We
So
move
keep
as
in mind we
quickly
don't.
on foot for the next 10 minutes as we do mounted normally. So now we don't get that buff on top of mounting, but it means that we don't have to spend time mounting up, which is huge.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, now he's gonna get the buff. So here we just have to wait for a second again. So usually you wanna always try to find a way to not waste time during just role plays, but sometimes there's just no other way than to just wait. Sometimes that's the best thing that you can do.
Come on. Thank you. Sometimes she doesn't like. Sometimes they don't like to give you their quest. Don't know why.
Yeah, and with most of these quests, it's always about figuring out which is like the best object to click, the best enemies to kill. I believe here there is not much choice. There are like quests where those flexible like sort of like spawning points. There are quests with fixed spawning points, with which is
Yeah,
the case with this one.
there's some different locations for the enemies, but the thing is, these 5 totems are all in the same spot. Now, this is a weird spot with the Ogre Taskmaster. We don't necessarily need to kill him, but he is a decent XP buff, and XP bonus. And if he's in the way, it's faster to kill him than run around him. So you'll note that I still have a number of harpies and cohorts unslain. Well, this next section is going to take care of that.
Yeah, and this is like what I was referring to, like making the best use of role-playing scenarios where you just can do this while this roleplay is going on. There's some tricks that you can mess around with in any of these sort of like quests. For example, you can start it and run away, but in this case, this doesn't achieve anything. But in other examples, sometimes you just can start like a roleplay sequence like that and just run away for 2 minutes and you get credit.
Yeah,
But
if you're in an area where you have to complete a bunch of different tasks, but if there's no speed to it, there's gonna be one more wave, and then there's gonna be a boss that will always spawn for us, which is nice. But we have a little trick for that one to do it quickly, so we'll show that off here in a moment.
And it seems like most of the he's the only one in this area, so he has all of the stuff to himself.
That's something I forgot to mention at the start that I wanted to account for. We are specifically playing on a low population server to reduce the likelihood of other players interrupting the speedrun in any significant fashion.
Yeah.
So you'll see here that I'm doing what's called kiting. It's as old as MMOs are, running the boss around an area to get things done. Normally you do it keep your party alive. Here we're doing it to get to the next area quickly.
Yeah, and we don't want anyone to help us, nor anyone to like make the run take longer. So it can be very frustrating to run this at times when your run dies because a mob has been killed or you got a lot of help, which seems unfair.
Okay, so we have to pick up 3 items here, and this is also why we do harpies before we go over and do spiders, which is what it wants you to do first. We're going to do harpies first because we did harpies first so that we can make this trap, and this is going to be another case of us balancing RP like Sheik was referencing. So we're going to run in here, we're going to throw this trap down, and now we're going to run away. And that takes like a full minute for them to go through that whole process, and they can do it without us.
Exactly.
I hope none of you are arachnophobic.
So these are also fixed positions again. He has to destroy those cocoons. There are 5 of them at a set position. It always gets really interesting in speedrunning when there's like, let's say 30 of them and you only have to select like 5 and you have to figure out the fastest and this with the least distance to them and the most accessible ones.
And then even sometimes it's like, oh, these are the 5 fastest to hit in a row, but they're further out of the way than any of the others. Like they're closer to each other, but it takes more time to get to them. And so it's like, well, great. If we could get to them faster, sure, they'd be the right answers, but it takes us traversing half the map to reach them, so no.
And then the inverse of that is like, we could do like 5 of them right away, but there's actually like a role play going on where you can actually like take your time and then do it during the role play, not wasting any time effectively because you have to wait on the role play.
Okay, this is the 3rd boss that could have been screwing us because it was because it wasn't spawned. But so far we've gotten really lucky. I don't think anyone else is in zone right now. So we're going to take advantage of this roleplay section. What we're going to do is this is a druid, so she can shapeshift into animals. She can wild shape. I mean, World of Warcraft is just D&D with some Lovecraft influence. Let's be real. And also every reference you can think of. We just dismissed our pet. because we have to go tame a new pet. And you can't tame a pet while your pet is out. In fact, when we get up there, that hunter that we were learning from will tell us to dismiss our pet. So this saves us some time because we can do it while riding her back. This is something I just found out, like, today, that you can dismiss pet while riding her. I thought you had to be fully in control of your character at the time. So.
And one thing to point out that if you play a different class, you actually have some different quests, which also like make certain classes faster and slower than others. So the way that it's handled on the leaderboard is that people can filter based on classes if they want to compare only to their classes. But there is like everyone in general is under the same category because there's just too many permutations otherwise, making it
Yeah, there's
not
separate subheadings if you want to say, oh, I'm the best at this class, but default it's all listed together. This one's fun.
Yeah. Because otherwise there would be no competition. Everyone would be in their own category and it wouldn't be fun.
Do you want to
It
talk
would
about
be more
combat specialization and why I'm not doing it yet, despite it giving me abilities?
Go ahead. I actually don't know the reason.
Okay, so there is a spot we're gonna have to wait for some RP to happen, and so it is better for us to get to the place where we have to wait anyway and then do this, because we're not going to be in combat before that RP occurs. So we just need to get where we're going, and then we can do this while we wait for the RP to happen. It's not very long, but it's long enough to handle this task. And this means we get to take advantage of the light speed boost buff longer.
I had a wrong memory there.
You can dance there. We didn't set that up as an incentive, so I'm saving that for another time. So. Yeah, it's an optional thing you don't have to do. Go ahead.
No, I just thought that you didn't even have to wave, but
you do.
You do. When I ran this category, I just had it in a macro, like /wave in a macro, so I just never really noticed it.
Okay, these are the last. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm gonna jump in real quick and just read a donation. We got a donation from Lana Lama 20. There's a couple what I think it's spelling errors, so I'm gonna try to correct for those. So sorry if those were intended. Hi there, I'm donating because this cause is important to me. Thank you, King, for introducing me to this cause. Plur, sorry, can't speak. Plur, thank you, Lana Lama 20.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I was able to introduce them. This right here is we just killed one of the enemy. Oh, I screwed up actually. Whoops, hold on. We had the boss spawned, but I forgot to loot it after killing it. This is still not the most time loss I've had in this area by any means. Normally, I'm worried that ogres haven't spawned here. Because we need to kill 8 of them, and that seems like, oh, there's a ton of ogres. Yeah, there are. There's also a ton of players that come through this area.
That's actually like a classic, like one of the biggest time losses in World of Warcraft speedrunning questing is usually forgetting like individual steps along the way, because there's like a lot of tiny steps that always happen. Which is one of the reasons, like the add-on Rest XP or any of the other ones came to be, which is like an add-on that tells you to go step by step, which we're not using here right now, but it's typically used for questing nowadays.
What's nice is we are done with the kill 8 ogres quest, so now we just need to finish that last catapult and kill Grunk. Now you will note that we are at a point now where we no longer have that damage boost, that movement speed buff. That's okay though, because we're going to kill this guy right here. And now we're gonna mount up, and we're gonna drive right to the next
You
spot.
you forgot to loot. You forgot to loot.
Thank you.
Just loot the one that's closest to you. I think you should.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's fine.
yeah. I mean,
It's still a better run than I have had through here in a while. I'm gonna be real.
I mean, you're doing a good job.
My personal best that I got today still had me waiting for a minute for one of the bosses to spawn. So
That's actually a nice tag. So sometimes it's in World of Warcraft retail, in classic MOP nowadays too. There is actually like mass loot. So if the enemies that you killed are within range, it might actually be more best to loot the one that's nearest to you, because you might just pick up the one item
Yeah.
that you actually want from the mob, so you don't actually have to run that far. So
Yep.
it's like a nice tag that can sometimes be used, but can also be easily forgotten. It's very easy to happen, like because it's also like something that it requires a lot of situational awareness if it's actually better or not.
So we
So
went
it's
Beastmaster because it gives us kill command, which lets me do this. Now you're gonna note that we have a bunch of ogres to kill. And you might go, do you have to kill all of them? In theory, no. But Captain Garrick and her son are really nice and really thorough. They will not move on if we don't kill all of this stuff, even if there's a way forward. So that one, you can just go. But if we go left here, they're going to run at this guy anyway. So we're going to kill this guy for them. And you'll see that I'm continuing to work my way up the stairs.
And this is like, all of this is like an introductory sort of starting zone for new players. So they introduce you to a lot of things that you will encounter throughout the game. So this is like your first dungeon. You have a group of NPCs following you if you don't have any.
And then we even have a human player right here that has tagged in with us. That doesn't invalidate the run. Because you can't control that.
Yeah,
It would
exactly.
invalidate the run if we partied with them from the start and planned them being on our team. Yes, we got the only piece of loot I actually care about in this entire run. This is Thunk's tiny bow. And this is not a tiny bow because, that's an ogre, but it's tiny for them. And that is actually the one piece of gear on this entire island that is a boost stat-wise above the heirlooms that you get for the slots that you have an heirloom in.
And an important thing to note is that if you want to give a shot at World of Warcraft speedrunning,
you don't need these
can
heirlooms. You can just do this normally without it.
Yeah, there's a category for beginners, a category for people who are advanced. There's like a lot of different types of categories, rule set that you can choose from, and you can choose just the zone that you like. We have like a whole leaderboard where you can just go on and select the zone and try to come up with a speed run. For many of them, there have never been a single speed run made of them.
We're starting on a board for mini games. So there's a bunch of mini games in WoW, and I actually run one of the categories. I'm the only runner for shipping and handling, which I want more runners in because it's really fun. But if there's some weird off-the-wall stuff you have, do a run and and come up with a rule set and just talk. We'll find something.
Yeah, WoW is a little bit interesting in that sense that usually speedruns have like just a few categories, but you have so many different activities in WoW that there's really just something for everyone.
It helps that it's a 20-year-old game. There's so much to do. And I will point out that if you want to do one of the starting zones like this one, if you do it the way that new game as opposed to new game plus, you don't even need to pay for the game. You can do all this on a free trial. So
exactly, yeah, that's actually a good point. Up until 20. So this is, for example, 1 to 10 right now, or like he gets to like 12 or something. So all of this can be done for free to play.
So
And this is basically almost.
The run has not ended yet. We're going to be flying out But this is where you want to get ready with timer, because I'll be saying time shortly. Go ahead, Sheik.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say too. It's the end of the run. A little bit unclimatic end to the run. But there used to be skips for this RP, which was like a cool strat. But nowadays that doesn't exist anymore, so we just have to ride this Griffin to Stormwind or Orgrimmar.
If you have another donation, now would be a great time, because we're going to be sitting here watching an auto-scroller for about 45 seconds.
Well, thank you for letting me know, because we actually do. This one is from Anonymous with no message, however, but they still sent $20, so thank you, Anonymous, for the $20.
So I've actually been asking if potentially we can maybe just make it be when you hop on the Griffin, we make that time because of this exact situation. Because now it's reliant on your computer to load the new area, but we're still talking about that to figure out if that'll be a change. But for right now, this is the way we set it.
I definitely think it's possible. It's just like a remnant from
Time.
Feel free to explore the city with Lindy while I report to King Rin. I'll send word once we have our next mission.
All
That's
right.
it.
It's about 26 minutes and 16 seconds, so ahead of expected.
Oh,
That's my personal best that I got today was 26:09. So that is
It might
that
be
would have
closer to
been my
that, because I started the timer a little early.
okay. That would have been my PB before coming into today. I'm exceedingly happy, but like I had to account the extra time in case like one of those bosses was dead before we got to it. But I'm still gonna chip in like I'll still donate 25 just as something. I didn't want to donate nothing after this. So
that's sweet.
thank you all for having me on. I will be back to this is a really cool run, and part of the reason I love to showcase this is what any person who has never played World of Warcraft before and starts playing retail today will have as their first experience of the game. Like, this will be the story that they go through. They might have a different class with some other quests in there, but this is the area they will see. And so I think it's really good as like a representative of what this game, if this excites you, then there's a whole lot more cool stuff later on. But this is a legitimate first impression. I'll be back tomorrow. You guys were kind enough to invite me twice this time, so I'll be back with Elephant Collection, which is a bunch of old Flash games that some of you are probably, what the heck is that? And when you see it, you're gonna be like, my childhood. But thank you all so much for having me. This has been legitimately an honor to be considered. And I started speedrunning and posting times in January, and to have been considered good enough for an incentive, it's unreal. Thank you all so much.
thanks for having me
Thank
too.
you so much for coming. Really appreciate it. I have never played World of Warcraft before, so I'm definitely looking at it now. So thanks for that.
And I do plan to keep this character as a souvenir for this. You can have like 60 characters on your account or something like that. So plan is to level this guy through some events, and he might show up in a couple of YouTube videos later. But yeah, so Games for Hope, because Gamers for Hope is one character too long to fit in the naming. So all right.
All right. Well, we
Thank you
appreciate
all.
it. Thank you so much. I'm gonna switch over to intermission real quick.